All right, strap in, everyone, because today we are diving deep into some seriously dark stuff.
Ooh, sounds intriguing.
You know, Shakespeare loves to drop these lines that just stick with you.
Like little grenades of wisdom.
Exactly. Well, today's grenade is blood will have blood.
Okay, I'm sensing a theme here.
We're cracking open Macbeth to see how this idea plays out in all its bloody glory.
Macbeth. Always a good time for a little murder and mayhem.
Right. We've got essays, performance notes, even those Spark Notes things that kids are using these days.
Gotta cover all our bases.
Yep, a real knowledge buffet to help us understand why Macbeth is such a mess.
Well, he's not the only Ray miss, let's be fair.
True. Lady Macbeth gives him a run for his money in the crazy department.
It's like Shakespeare is using these murders as a map, charting their descent into darkness.
Okay, so ambition obviously is a huge motivator here, but I think there's more to it.
Oh, absolutely. Layers upon layers.
So first, murder on the docket. King Duncan. A lot of our sources call him this saintly king figure.
Not just significant, it's essential for understanding the weight of this crime.
Go on.
Back then, the idea of a king being chosen by God, the divine right, wasn't just political theory.
It was real.
Like deeply believed. So killing Duncan isn't just treason, it's a cosmic offense.
Whoa, okay, high stakes. And yet Macbeth does it. After a bit of a pep talk from his wife, of course.
Oh yeah, Lady Macbeth, she's not messing around. Dash out the brains of a babe kind of energy.
Chillin' stuff. And it shows how different they are at this point.
Right. Macbeth's tempted by the witch's prophecy, ambitions burning, but there's still a conscience.
He hesitates.
Lady Macbeth. Pure, unfiltered desire for power. No brakes on that train.
And they get what they want, at least for a while.
Right, he becomes king. But as we know, it's not a happily ever after.
Not even close. It's like that blood will have blood. Things starts echoing instantly.
Exactly. Consequences start rippling out immediately and never really stop. Like throwing a stone in a pond.
And those ripples are bloody. Speaking of which, the next murder happens fast.
Oh yeah, the Chamberlains. Poor guys didn't stand a chance.
Macbeth can't even enjoy being king for 5 minutes before he's ordering more deaths.
He's spiraling, already framing people, using those poor Chamberlains as scapegoat.
Cunning, but also shows how insecure he is.
Right. Needing to control the narrative even when he's supposedly on top.
And the irony is just thick. He's all, I killed them out of grief for Duncan.
Oh, please.
But we, the audience, see right through it.
Totally. He's justifying the violence, hiding his true motives. And it works. People are scared.
As to that atmosphere of suspicion, nobody knows who to trust anymore. Which brings us to Banquo. Now, this one always felt particularly cold to me.
Yeah, there was a history there, right? More than just some political rivalry.
They were friends, weren't they? At least in the beginning.
Remember those witches, though? They didn't just whisper in Macbeth's ear.
Oh, right. Banquo's descendants were supposed to be kings.
So suddenly, this friend isn't just a pal. He's a dynastic threat to Macbeth and his legacy.
And this time, Macbeth doesn't even get his own hands dirty. He hires murderers.
Power corrupts, right. That first murder, he agonizes over it.
Now he's like, delegate.
Exactly. The act itself is almost beneath him, which is messed up.
But also makes him a more interesting character in a way.
Oh, for sure. Shakespeare knew how to write a good villain.
Consequences here are huge, though, right? Both for Macbeth and for Scotland.
Banquo's ghost, that's not just a spooky Halloween decoration.
No, that's guilt manifesting.
Literally and figuratively, Macbeth is haunted, can't sleep, losing his grip on reality.
But there's also Flance Banquo's son. He escapes.
That escape isn't just plot convenience, it's symbolic. A glimmer of hope for Scotland.
The chance for a rightful ruler someday.
Right, someone who didn't wade through a river of blood to get the crown.
But then, things get really dark with Macduff's family.
Oh yeah, this is where Macbeth goes full tyrant.
It's not just about eliminating a rival anymore, it's
horrific.
This is Shakespeare showing us the full cost of unchecked power. Macduff is a threat.
But instead of just going after him,
Macbeth orders the deaths of his wife, his kids.
Everyone, no mercy.
The scene where Macduff gets the news. Man, I always feel that one in my gut.
Heartbreaking. But there's also this steely resolve that comes over him. He's going to fight back.
Yeah, this is what tyrants do. They create their own enemies.
People who were hesitant before are now fully against Macbeth.
Ready to join Macduff and try to restore some kind of order. So we've gone from a hesitant killer to a man who orders the death of innocents without a second thought.
Yeah, blood will have blood isn't just a catchy phrase here. It's driving the whole story.
What I'm curious about is, how is Macbeth handling this mentally?
Good question. He's clearly not the same guy who started this whole thing.
There's got to be some serious psychological fallout happening.
Oh, absolutely. Shakespeare was a master of exploring the dark side of the human psyche.
So next time, we're putting Macbeth on that metaphorical therapist couch.
Let's see what our sources have to say about the mental and emotional toll of all this bloodshed.
Okay, so we left off talking about Macbeth's mental state.
Which, let's be honest, is not looking so great.
It's not great at all. So let's dive into that. What are our sources saying about how all this murder is messing with his head?
Well, a lot of the analyses focus on this idea of a rapid decline. At the start, he's this war hero.
Yeah, brave, decisive, all that.
Right, but then the witches show up, and suddenly those seeds of ambition are planted.
And boy, do they grow fast.
It's like that first murder, killing Duncan, it's a breaking point. His mind starts to fracture.
We see that with the hallucinations, right? The bloody dagger before he even does the deed.
Oh yeah, classic Shakespearean imagery. And it's not just there for spooky vibes.
There's a deeper meaning.
Totally. That dagger is often interpreted as Macbeth's internal struggle given form.
So it's not a real dagger?
Well, it might be. I mean, he does use a dagger to kill Duncan, but it's also a symbol.
Okay, I'm following.
It's like his own ambition, his desire for power is manifesting as this weapon urging him forward.
So even before he kills Duncan, he's already seeing the violence in his own mind.
Exactly. And then, of course, we have the granddaddy of all guilt trips.
Banquo's ghost?
Talk about a dinner party buzzkill.
Seriously. But it's not just about being spooked, right? It's about what that ghost represents.
It's the fear of consequences. The knowledge that his actions have unleashed forces he can't control.
Macbeth's literally haunted.
And figuratively, too. He can't sleep, he's jumpy, he's seeing things, not in a good way.
But here's the thing that always gets me. Even as he's falling apart, he seems to get more numb to the violence.
That's the tragedy of it. Each act makes the next one easier. He starts to believe brutality is the only way to hold on to power.
So that first murder, killing Duncan, was this huge emotional ordeal.
But by the time we get to Macduff's family, it's almost routine. Like he's shut off that part of himself.
Yeah, there's no more hesitation, no more agonizing over right and wrong. It's chilling.
It's like he's trapped in this horrible feedback loop. Each death fuels his paranoia, which then justifies more bloodshed.
And that culminates in the Macduff family massacre, right?
That's him at his most monstrous syntheses. And it's interesting because even Lady Macbeth can't handle this one.
Oh, she's definitely involved in the darkness, no doubt. But there's a breaking point for her, too.
Absolutely. She's all, watch the blood off our hands at the start.
A little water clears us of this deed, right? Famous line.
Yeah, but it doesn't work that way. You can't just ignore the weight of your actions.
And that's where we get that sleepwalking scene. Lady Macbeth trying to scrub invisible blood off her hands.
One of the most psychologically disturbing scenes in all of Shakespeare. Her subconscious is screaming out.
So while Macbeth is hardening, becoming more and more ruthless,
Lady Macbeth is crumbling under the guilt. It drives her to madness and ultimately to take her own life.
so they both end up destroyed, just in different ways.
It's like Shakespeare is showing us two sides of the same coin. The destructive power of ambition.
But it's not just them who pay the price, right?
Yeah.
Blood will have blood.
Yeah.
It affects everyone.
Exactly. We've talked about their inner turmoil, but next, we need to zoom out. See how this darkness spreads throughout Scotland.
Because it's not just contained to Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, is it? The whole kingdom gets infected. So we've explored Macbeth and Lady Macbeth's individual journeys into darkness.
But like we were saying, it doesn't stop there.
This whole blood will have blood thing, it infects the whole country.
Scotland becomes this pressure cooker of paranoia and fear.
Yeah, those scenes in the court where everyone's whispering, looking over their shoulders.
You can practically smell the fear.
It's like Duncan's murder ripped a hole in the fabric of society.
And instead of trying to mend it, Macbeth just keeps making it worse.
With more violence, more suspicion.
Nobody knows who to trust anymore. Loyalty becomes a liability.
Even families start to break down under the strain.
Lady Macduff is a great example of that.
Oh yeah, when her husband flees to England.
She feels betrayed, abandoned, even though he's doing it to protect himself, to fight back against Macbeth.
It's like the poison is seeping into every relationship, every interaction.
And it's not just the human world that's affected.
Oh.
A lot of our sources point out the imagery of nature gone wild.
Yeah, all those storms, the darkness, animals acting strangely.
It's like the universe itself is out of whack.
Shakespeare was a master of symbolism, wasn't he?
Absolutely. The falcon killed by the owl, Duncan's horses going crazy. These aren't just random events.
They're signs that something's fundamentally wrong.
The natural order has been disrupted, and that disruption starts with the regicide.
So it's like Macbeth's ambition isn't just hurting people, it's throwing the whole world off balance.
Exactly. And that sense of imbalance is what ultimately fuels the rebellion against him.
Macduff goes to England, rallies those forces. It's all driven by this need to fix what Macbeth broke.
To restore order, to bring back justice.
So even though Macbeth got what he wanted, the crown, the power, it all backfires on him.
Because he built it on a foundation of lies and bloodshed.
And that's never going to last.
It's a classic Shakespearean theme. Power gained through brutality is never sustainable.
You can't rule through fear forever. Eventually, people will rise up.
And in the end, true authority comes from justice, from the trust of the people.
Man, that's a heavy lesson. And one that feels pretty relevant, even today.
Oh, absolutely. Macbeth is timeless because it speaks to these fundamental human truths.
The dangers of unchecked ambition, the way violence begets violence, the need for justice.
It's all still playing out in our world, in different ways.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from examining each murder to the psychological impact to this wider societal fallout.
It's amazing how much depth there is in this one play.
How Shakespeare connects those personal choices to these huge, sweeping consequences.
And that's the magic of Shakespeare, right? Every time you reread Macbeth, see it performed.
You discover something new. It's a play that keeps on giving. So listeners, next time you encounter Macbeth, I challenge you to really pay attention to those murders.
Think about the motives, the short A&D long-term consequences.
How it affects everyone, not just the victims.
Because in the end, those murders aren't just plot devices, they're reflections of our own capacity for darkness.
Warnings about what happens when ambition and violence are allowed to run wild. What a journey this has been. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Blood Will Have Blood.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and remember,
Shakespeare is always more relevant than you think.